Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of Southern Gospel Forward. And we're a little late.
Yes, but we're still here, though.
We're here. Making me nervous, y'all that have been watching us faithfully, and we appreciate you. You know, we had some technical difficulties a couple of weeks ago when we had Kennedy and Connor and Bailey Hayes on, and then we were trying to go live and we had a little technical difficulty. So y'all pray, if y'all don't mind, for us, and just hope that all this technology that is great when it works. Let's just pray that it works. How are my partners tonight?
Doing good.
We're good.
I'm tired. Thanksgiving week, it's supposed to be a week off, but I feel like I've worked more in the last 2 days than I have.
Well, tomorrow, take the day off.
Oh, I am. I've got my first meal of many this week. So
first meal of many. I like it. Well, look, y'all, don't want to hold up too much on the preliminaries, but let's get started. Y'all know we like to share with you some opportunities that you could help us keep this thing going and also achieve some of our goals. We are on the waiting list for a spot at the National Quartet Convention, a booth spot, a booth space. So we are going to, it's kind of like the guy who prayed for rain and then he went out and started plowing his field to prepare for the rain that God was going to send. So we're trying to, we're believing that space is going to come available, and we would love for you to help us. If you remember, we got a couple of sponsors that you can go and shop with, bensoap.com. If you go to bensoap.com and use coupon code SBM Studios, you'll get a discount, nice discount, and also we'll get a love back. But awesome natural products, really good for sensitive skins. You got soaps, lotions, all kind of products. If you go to bensoap.com, use coupon code SBM Studios, that would help us out a bunch. And then also another company that we love is mypillow.com. I use that every night and take it when I travel. It's the best sleep you'll ever get. If you go to mypillow.com, you can shop all other kind of products, from sheets, towel sets, all kind of goodies. If you use coupon code SBM Studios, you'll get an awesome discount, especially during the Thanksgiving shopping season and Christmas shopping season. Awesome discount, and we'll get a little love back. So if y'all would consider that, that would make us all smile like my partners are smiling right now. Look at them. Look at those teeth.
You're definitely smiling.
There you go.
Because I'm not texting Cayden.
Okay. Now look, one more thing I want to do, and this starts tonight, and y'all get the first opportunity to hear about this, but talking about how you can support us. And I'm going to pop a little something up on the screen that should be flowing while I talk. It's going to have a Venmo account and a PayPal account. Look, we're going to do something. Y'all see, I hope you can see these CDs. I have got Glorious God by Lauren Talley. I have got Steady and Sure, the latest release from the Mylan Hayes family, and one of the hottest items out there right now, Christmas in London. The Greater Vision. Woo! Yes, and look at there. Riley's got the LP, but he's not going to include the LP in this package. Just three that I showed you. Those three CDs are valued at $60. We're going to do a little raffle, I started saying giveaway in the house, and they're like, no, you're not giving it away. No, we're going to give you chances to win that 3 CD pack. Here's the deal. If you donate $5, you get one chance. $5, one chance. If you donate this many, $10, you get 3 chances. But wait, there's more. If you donate $20, you get 10 chances. So that's pretty sweet. $5, one chance. $10, 3 chances. $20, you get 10 chances to win this awesome CD package. We're going to do it for about 2 weeks and then draw a winner. Would you consider? And if you need to do it another way other than Venmo or PayPal, if you'll contact us, you can contact me at that email address. That's the PayPal address for the ministry and for the studios, or drop us a message. And we would love for you to help support us. We sure do. We would covet your support. So, all right. That covers the commercials. How about that? That was pretty good time. I am ready to go ahead and get into the fun of the night. How about you guys?
We're ready.
Yes, sir.
All right. We are blessed to have a awesome young person join us tonight. Another young artist traveling the road today, doing an awesome job singing with the Down East Boys. Would you help us welcome Cayden Howell? Hey, there he is.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing?
Doing well.
Doing good.
Man,
Hey,
that's awesome. It's good to be with
that green room and have to sit through the commercials.
Man, I love the peanuts, M&Ms. They were great. Thank you.
we try. We try. We should have asked your preference, but but Cayden, we are so thankful that you took time out, dear. I know this is Thanksgiving week and an off week, and we are just thankful for you hanging out with us tonight.
Man, I'm thankful that you asked me. I finally get to be with the famous crew here. It's good.
Oh, you're talking about Riley and Evan.
Yes,
and
you,
Avery.
Evan.
No.
Yes.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be good, and we're just looking forward to it. Y'all that are watching, and we've already got a nice crowd assembling. Y'all who are watching, would you please click share? If you're watching on YouTube, the SBM Studios YouTube, we would love for you to subscribe to the channel and click that little bell so you get notifications and share us. But on Facebook right now, if you're watching on the SBM Studios page, would you share us? Just so some more friends will gather with us. We want to have a big old night, and we're going to be watching the comments. I'm going to be watching the comments as we get going. But Cayden, I tell you, a good way for us to start out. Would you just give, we know you, and a lot of our watchers and listeners, when we get this on the podcast, will know you. But for those who do not, would you just give a little background, tell a little bit about yourself, and just tell about your role with the Down East Boys?
Okay. My name's Cayden Howell. I'll be 23 next year. I've been singing quartet music since I was 15. And I've sung with Appointed Quartet, the Dixie Melody Boys, and now I sing with the Down East Boys. I sing baritone. So,
excellent.
Yeah,
that was a Reader's Digest version of your history.
Yes.
Great job there.
Yes.
That was awesome. I like it. Short and concise. Do what?
He's been PR trained.
Do what, buddy?
I can sense it. Cayden's been PR trained.
Well, Cayden, I usually try to ask a first question and get out of the way, so I'm going to let my partners jump in and start firing away. We're going to put you on the spot like you were running for office. So enjoy.
Let's do it.
So I guess since Avery pointed at me, I don't know if Riley pointed at me either because we're in two separate states. But I'll go first. What got you into Southern gospel music? You said you'd been doing it since age 15. What was that like moment that you were like, this is what I want to do for my life?
Right. Obviously, I've heard it all of my life. I'm sure like you other guys have. I grew up in a church where this style of music was very prevalent. And every Sunday, we heard hymns. We heard different songs by various groups, all that kind of thing. But I didn't really know who those groups were until a radio station over here close to home. It used to be 99.3, then it went to 99.7, and then it went to 102.9. The Eagle over here in Boonville, actually. And I would just be in the house, when I was roughly 14, almost to my 15th birthday. And I would hear that song. I'm like, we sung that song at church, and he'd come in. Well, that was so by the Kingsmen Quartet from Asheville. I'm like, who are the Kingsmen? So I'd go on and I'd look them up. I'm like, man, these guys are cool. This 4-part stuff is something like I've never heard. And I just dug deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And I'm like, man, these guys go on tours and everything. I'm curious to go see what they're like live, because I had been to other kinds of concerts coming up, but I've never been to an actual one. And I was talking to Josh Franks about this when I was on the radio with him a couple of weeks ago. June the 3rd, 2017 was my first gospel concert. It was Gold City and the Kingsmen, the Perrys, and Josh and Ashley Franks. It was in Corinth at the Corinth Civic Center Coliseum up there. And the first quartet on that night, I believe, was Gold City. And I just looked at my mom when I saw those guys taking the platform, how they were doing. I just heard the power and conviction that they had. And it was just me and my mom that night. And I just looked over at my mom. I said, that's what God is calling me for. That's what I've been looking for. That's what God wants me to do with my life. And she said, well, if this is what you think that God's called you to do, pray about it. And if everything's meant to pass, and it'll come. And here I am. That's what made me fall in love with it. And a fun fact, actually, Riley, you know who I'm speaking of, appointed quartet.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first quartet job. I got it on my 16th birthday, so that was kind of cool. That was my first group. That was kind of how I got my start singing quartet music.
Very cool.
So you mentioned that several different groups. So who would you say are some of your biggest influences in this music?
Biggest influences as far as the group that I've listened to and probably learned the most from is probably the Cathedrals. I know it seems like a very stereotypical answer, but I do believe that they were the best of the best. They were the best ministers, and they knew exactly how to put just enough showmanship into it to kind of pull you in. Hey, this is what we're actually here for. We're here to minister and show you what Jesus can do for you if you'll just give your heart and life over to him. And as far as learning singing, how to sing better, how to sing with that power and that conviction, you know, because obviously as singers, you know, we want people to feel the kind of conviction that we feel about the things that we sing about. And to me, I think that those guys were just some of the best. And you knew by the way they were singing, if they were hurting, if they were happy, all that stuff. And just hearing those guys do that kind of quartet singing that way, I'm like, okay, as a quartet man, that's how I need to be doing this thing. That's probably who I should try and model my singing after. And it'd probably have to be the Cathedrals.
Awesome.
So tagged on to Riley's question, and you kind of alluded to it. What is a retired group you would want to travel with that's no longer on the road, and why?
Basically, for all of those same reasons, the Cathedrals, because I've talked to Ricky, and I've talked to our bus driver and sound man, Harold Reed. Harold and Ricky got to sing a lot with those guys. They got to go to concerts and just watch them. Like I said, they did get to sing on the same programs with them, and I've heard some fantastic tales from them about the kind of men that they were and the kind of good Christian men that they were that set a good example for, you know, Ricky and people like Harold that were in my shoes 20 to 30 years back when they were still going, and the kind of role models that they were for those guys. And I would just love back in time and be a fly on the wall and just see what it was like.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We'll hit another round with our panel in just a second, but real quick, and to our watchers again, thank you so much. We got a big live crowd already. Y'all know the drill. I probably won't be able to get to everybody's howdy and everybody's comment, but let's say hello to a few folks tonight that are watching. Matthew Mays, good to see you, buddy, and appreciate you for joining us. Of course, you always have the cat callers on there. We got Blaine Rayleigh says, y'all just let anyone on the show. But he says, we got Miss Hannah watching, Hannah Bradford. We have got Megan. She is a faithful watcher, and we're glad to have her joining us tonight from Winter Haven, Florida. Another regular watcher, Miss Harrison. Thank you for joining us. Let's keep on stepping down. Just bear with me a minute. I'm going to try to catch everybody that I can. Shannon Hollis, because some of these people y'all may know, may be family, and I don't want to leave them out. This guy, I'm familiar with him a little bit. I think Lucas. Yeah, no. And we are thankful to have brother Luke joining us.
Johnny Cash's fourth cousin. That's who he is.
Yeah.
That's it.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. Here's one. Plunkett. Thank you for joining us. And Tara Trammell, she has been promoting us this week, getting excited for Cayden coming on. It's Peggy Hill Martin. Thank you for joining us. A buddy here up in the Winfield area. Coach Mallory is joining us. J.P. Turner is another faithful watcher. Mr. Ken Cook. Zach Stanley. Goodness gracious. Here's Nathan Dewberry. Y'all, we have got a ton of live watchers. Cayden is like popular, man. He is popular. We somebody from Maryland watching, Tim Merle. Thank you for joining us. And somebody, Avery and Evan has fans.
Oh, yeah, Miss Patsy from Arab. Hi, we love her.
Yep, and we'll say
I know
hi
her as well.
too. Yeah, thank you for joining us. And goodness, and Evan and Avery keep having more and more fans.
Yeah, they're from well,
really,
Hamilton.
technically from our neck of the woods, but probably closer to Cayden through the map.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So maybe this is the Evan and Avery show. And no, I'm just kidding. That's awesome. I'm glad. I love this. I love this. How about this?
I'm just here.
Wayne Robinson. You know, this person, Cayden, says that's our man from Boonville.
Yes, sir.
Now, you were from Boonville, Mississippi?
Yes, sir. Boone, Vegas. Okay. Yes, sir.
You are not far from me. No. All right, y'all. Here a couple more, and then we'll get back to our questions. Pianist extraordinaire, Brother Richie Works, is watching us. Good to see you, brother. This guy is a phenomenal tenor and one of my buddies, and I'm thankful so much for Stephen Adair from the Mark Trammell Quartet joining us. Oh, hey, hello, Cayden, and you other peeps too. So it's Cayden and the peeps tonight. That is official.
So take it on the road, Cayden.
Take it on the road. We need a bus.
We need we don't need a bus.
No, we don't need a bus. No.
Name, man.
Heartache and trials and sorrow is all that's good for. That's right. I got you. Papa Bradford, and y'all, I'm going to end. We got a couple more. Let me see here. Cody is watching this, and he says it's good to work with Cayden and the Down East boys. And
that was fun. That was a fun day.
Let's take time out. That's good. We'll try to get to some more as we go, but thank y'all so much, y'all. We got an awesome live crowd.
I checked online. We've got nearly over 60 watchers.
Live, yeah. And that's the up and down and back and forth, and we'll get a lot more. Yeah, I'm showing 70 right now. So that keeps going up through the night. And man, if y'all get a chance, please share. But all right, so I'm going to turn it back over, and let's see, Evan, you started first last time. You want to start with another question you got on tap?
I've been thinking about one while we were waiting, and Cayden, me and you have been to a lot of concerts together. I've seen where you've been to concerts, and what is one that sticks out to you? Rather, it's been one where you've been behind the microphone, or one where you're sitting in the audience.
Oh my! Like I said, probably the one that I hold highest regard is the one that I talked about, my first one in Corinth. And it stinks because I haven't been able to go to that concert in the last couple of years because I've been on the road and been gone. And I'm hoping one day that we can get scheduled on for that. That would be awesome for me. But it would probably be that. It's the Leon Frazier Memorial Sing up in Corinth that they do every year. I never got to meet him, but Ricky knows him. Harold does. And I've seen clips of him. He was a fantastic organist. He was a beast, and he's great. And their whole group was great. And I just love, because they're trying to carry on the legacy of Leon. It led to people like me having that opportunity to go and hear this kind of music and have an opportunity to fall in love with it. So it'd probably be that one.
Awesome. Riley?
This is a question from the group we had. If you were recording a solo project, what's the track list and why?
Ooh.
The track list. Okay. Are we doing an EP or a full album?
Maybe try to do an EP. Let's say five or six for the space.
So I'd probably do. Wow, that's a great question. Who Am I by Rusty Goodman, Because He Lives. Probably He Looked Beyond My Faults and Saw My Needs. Wow, that's a great question. Probably The Old Rugged Cross and How Great Thou Art. I'm very stuck to hymns because, like I said, I've heard those mainly growing up, and hearing those kind of songs is really what first sparked my interest in learning more about what Southern gospel music was about, because of those songs that I've heard in the hymnal. And the other two that weren't hymns, Who Am I and He Looked Beyond My Faults and Saw My Needs, are just fantastic written songs about what Christ has done for us. And I don't really know any better way to put it than that. It's very, very simple, and I love the simplicity in the lyrics in both of those songs.
Absolutely. It's Avery.
All right. So, Cayden, if you didn't sing and you had to have like a normal job, like I unfortunately have. No, I mean, not that I'd want to sing. I love my normal job. But what would you do if you had like a typical job?
Typical job. Well, you know, I honestly wouldn't mind going to work where I worked before I got my first full-time position singing with the Dixies. I was working for Ashley Furniture, actually. I met a lot of really good people there, and I made good money, and I made a lot of good friends there. And that would probably be what I would be doing. I enjoyed the labor. I didn't think it was too hard. And I just think it was a good environment. So if probably I wasn't singing, that would probably be what I would be doing.
Excellent. Good answer. Sales.
I love asking that question because we've gotten like everything from like a chiropractor to I think somebody said a veterinarian, a mechanic. Like, so now, yeah, it's working for Ashley Furniture. That's cool.
I don't have any near enough stuff in my brain to do any. Just call it off. So all I'm going to do is just lift the boxes and do whatever the heavy lifting is and call it a day.
I'm going to jump in with a question, if I may. So my first, I really got the pleasure of really speaking with you, Cayden, and getting to know you a little better this past year at NQC, and it was a blessing. I enjoyed my time, the brief times that we had talking. And so going back, and I'm kind of a student and I watch, and I'm watching you and your singing. I've watched several things that, you know, come across on YouTube, and I watch you with your stage presence and your placement and your tones. And you can tell that you're a student, you're really working hard. I can tell that you're doing a great job, phenomenal job. Especially, you know, someone as useful as you is just awesome. But I would like to know maybe some people in these first several years that you would say maybe has mentored you, maybe some that's poured into you, some of those things that I do see you utilizing and working on. Just maybe some people that's kind of taking you under the wing, or somebody you've modeled yourself after. I'd like to hear a little bit about that.
Sure. Okay. Well, as far, and I try to give him credit every time that we talk. Probably one of the first people that I met that was singing put his arm around me and said, "Man, if this is what you think God's called you to do, if there's anything that I can do for you or any help that I can give to you, that would be Bob Sellers." He sang lead for the Kingsmen for several years. He's a fantastic guy, and he actually lives in Alabama. So Bob was one of the first. Like I said, I think Bob could see that I wanted it as bad as I did, and I still do. I try not to get complacent. I try and work as hard as I can and find new things that I can improve on. But as far as in the early years, as far as someone who really kind of took that leap and kind of said, man, if there's anything you need, I'm here for you, it would probably be Bob. I love Bob.
Great. And I know Bob, he's a friend of mine. We actually live about 20 miles apart, and known him for years, singing with the local groups, and then when he went with the Kingsmen. But he does have a heart. I noticed that. We've got I really can't call him a young man, but we've got a young person when it comes to singing ministry in our area, Matt Winters, and I think he's working right now on doing some things on Southern Gospel in the industry and church. But Bob is really taking him under his wing and been an encourager and working with him. And so Bob has a heart, it seems like, and we appreciate folks like that. I love to see when those who are seasoned and more experienced do pour into our young folks. I think that's huge. So I'm gonna ask one more and then get out of the way for a little bit. But so you said you're 23, right?
I will be 23 next year.
You will be 23. Okay.
So I'm 22 now. Yeah.
So very young in the industry. Talk a little bit about, like, in the crowds, you know, a lot of times folks say that our music is for the older generations, and I definitely don't. I mean, I know that's true when you look at some ticket sales and some of the audiences, but I also see a whole lot of young folks. So talk a little bit about that. Do you see about what you see as far as young folks in the crowd and their excitement for the music? I mean, I'm sorry, you were with the Dixie Melody Boys, very traditional. And then the Down East Boys, again, a traditional male quartet in Southern Gospel. But something tells me when you're singing, you see the young folks in the crowd, you see the connection, you see the excitement. Maybe talk a little bit about that, what you see for youth in Southern Gospel.
I will tell you this. I'll tell you, like I tell everybody, I probably get asked that at least once every week or once every few weeks about what I think that the future is going to be. And if there is any people that's my age, Evan, Riley, Avery, if it's people that are into it, man, I'm telling you, because I've seen it for myself, there's more out there than what you might think that there are.
Absolutely.
Actually, this has just happened. We were in, I believe it's Otway, Ohio, at Beach Fork Christian Church in Otway, Ohio. We sung there Sunday night, and they were full of people under the age of probably like 30. And obviously we see that here and there, but last Sunday night was really cool. And after the concert was over, these 4 kids come up to me, and I think the oldest one was the guy that sang bass, and he was like 23. The other guys were between like 16 and obviously, like I said, he's like 23. And that's all of them were like, man, we love singing. We're trying to be our own group. And so that, you know what I mean? So that kind of lets me know that there are younger eyes out there watching, whether you think there are or not. We went on our tour out west. We went to Colorado and Nebraska. In both of those states, I would argue close to half of the crowds every night were people, like I said, under the age of probably like 40.
Excellent.
It was very encouraging to see, 16, 17-year-old kids come up and say, man, we love this music. Thank you for doing what you do. And like I said, in my mind, that lets me know that regardless of what everybody else thinks, I think that if we do, like you said, if we try to pass on everything we know and we try and be the best Christians and encouragers to the kids coming in behind me, that's the only way that our industry and our music's going to move forward, right? So I think that seeing all that, especially over the last couple of years, and that's like you said, I was with the Dixie Melody Boys, and our style was very traditional. We did attract a little bit older crowd, but there were even times where I met kids, like Riley, who loves that old school kind of quartet music. So there are some of those out there too. Man, I'm telling you, there's more out there than what you think. And it's very important that we try and make as many friends as we can and try and
Yes.
bring as many people into what this is, man. Because I've talked to so many of them, so many people my or close to my age think that Southern gospel music is a bunch of men in wheelchairs with white hair and whatever singing from some old songbook that was written in 1935, when that couldn't be farther from the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to say that people my age have been brought up to kind of look down on it, but there's so many, like I said, that have been told that their whole lives that this kind of music just outdated and it's old. And I just hate that things are being done like that. But it's been proven to me so many times that if you just put it in front of them, you would be surprised as to what the result would be.
Absolutely. And great points, Cayden. Spoken very is perfectly. I'm a big believer with Brother Gerald Wolfe. We both said it the same in different ways, that when Southern gospel is presented to young people positively, and it's done with excellence, and like you said, it's done ministry minded, I've never come across a young person who just rejected it. It's all about the presentation. Yes, I mean, I've been in a church before where a pastor led away from traditional hymns and Southern gospel and just basically thought it was irrelevant. That's not true, but that is the case in some churches in some areas. So to all of our watchers, and we do have a lot of older watchers watching, if you want to help get the young folks like my partners and Cayden in on this, play it. Grandchildren, children, play it in the cars, riding down the street, but make sure that's what they're listening to. Present it positively. And that's what Forward is all about. Southern Gospel Forward is trying to grow and network those fans who are under 40, the age that Cayden mentioned, and also bringing the artists together. So y'all help us and just share this music, because it absolutely appeals to young people. And I think the future is bright in Southern Gospel when it comes to young people. So that's my 2 cents. That's my commercial, and it didn't cost you a dime. All right. Who's next on the question?
So, Cayden, I know me and Evan met you a few years ago now at a concert in Saltillo. And that's when we got to knowing you and becoming friends. And we've watched you come up, from the Dixie Melody Boys into the Down East Boys. And your transition has been awesome. I also did not know till you mentioned that you're a year younger than me. And that made me feel a little old for some reason. I thought you were like 25. Not that that's like substantially.
Well, man, I usually get told, man, you're 22. I thought you were like 30 or 35.
No.
What?
I knew you were pretty close to my age. I was sitting there, you were younger than me. Anyway, that wasn't a question. Those just things.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so Avery's feeling old now, and I'm the one with
really
a shirt with you.
I'm the
Not
one
all
with
Avery.
ouch. All right, next question, panel.
Y'all have a lot of great songs y'all sing every night, but if you could limit it down to one favorite, maybe like a fast song and maybe a slower song, like a more meaningful song or whatever. Not that they're not all meaningful, but
Sure.
What would your favorite song that y'all do each night be?
What are you saying, Riley? What are you saying? No, I'm just joking with you. No, I'm just joking. So as far as the faster ones, probably the one that we get asked the most for is where I send that would probably be my pick for the faster song. I think that's a good example of the kind of energy that me and the other guys can bring. I love seeing folks' face when we start putting in the numbers and everybody starts singing their parts. Everybody comes out to sing the solos, people hitting high notes, low notes, everything in between. I just love doing that song every night. And I just love to see how the crowd feeds off of everything that we're trying to do. And it just creates something really special as far as the fast one goes. As far as the slower ones, it would probably be Love Worth Dying For. Honestly, we're very proud of what that's been doing lately as far as radio went. That song, it just, I don't know any other way to put it other than to say it's just got some meat on the bones.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
It makes very bold statements, and it talks a lot about things that are right in your face and things that everybody deals with all the time. And, you know, even at your lowest point, when you feel like that you couldn't be loved, you know, sometimes I've wondered where I'd be if it were not for grace.
Amen.
I don't think I know anybody that can't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Something that everyone can be thankful for every day, you know. And like I said, just the whole composition of that song, from the lyrics to the music to the way that Doug even sings it. Doug is a very good communicator on stage, and I think
Yes.
he does the song justice. But it's probably the slower song. I would have to pick that one. That's probably my favorite that we do.
Perfect. And I know that our watchers can probably see this. Every now and then we get just a little bit of a lag and a catch up on the camera. Cayden, the fast song you said was "Children Go Where I Send Thee," correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It kind of skipped over that when you said that, so I was just making sure. I knew from what you said, I knew that's what you were talking about, but I wanted to make sure. All right, Avery or Evan, y'all got a question up to bat?
I got another question. Thank you.
Okay. I'll just text Cayden after the thing and just talk to him then. It's fine. It's a good thing I have your number, Cayden.
You can't get to talk all the time. Anyway, what has probably been one of your funniest moments or most embarrassing moments on the road so far?
The day you met me.
Oh my gosh. Most embarrassing moment. Wow. Probably.
Is there that many, or are you searching for one?
You know, there's wow. Probably one of my first embarrassing moments was right after I joined Appointed, and I almost feel bad for even telling it because I know it's going to go around. But you asked, and you know what? I'm just going to tell you.
You could have said
it's
funny.
Gonna be
First
good.
concert when I joined Appointed. Well, it's funny and embarrassing, and at that time, I just wanted to just dig a hole in the ground and just try and go as far down as I could. But looking after the fact, a couple of weeks later, I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? It was one of my first concerts with Appointed. I had never really worn suits and ties, and that was their thing too. You know, if you're going to come sing here, you need suit and tie. And it was a gray suit that I still have at home. It's a gray suit I wore with a white shirt. And obviously, I didn't know anything about sizes and stuff. I got this shirt that was too big for me. I'm like, man, I just want to sing. Give me a microphone. Let me go. So we're getting changed and we get ready and everything. And to make a very long short, I did the first 3 or 4 songs of our set that night with the tail of my shirt hanging through the front of my zipper.
Oh.
And yes, so that's funny, embarrassing, and from that moment on, I'm scared to death that I'm not going to look at something right or something's going to end up happening. And those guys did not live that down for a long time. But I'm thankful for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was a very interesting weekend. Yeah.
And all things give thanks. Yeah, there you go. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Wait, y'all. Stop. Evan's got a question.
Now that you put me on the spot, I don't know if I have one. Is it too early? We've been on here 40 minutes. Cayden, Howell, what is your favorite road trip snack?
Road trip snack.
Yes, on the bus.
Well, I've been trying to. Oh my goodness. I've been trying to eat more clean over the last couple of months. I've tried my best to lose some weight. And before I started doing this, I could name you everything that's on the shelf in the sweet area at Walmart. Right. But probably now, Ricky and me both, especially over the last couple of weeks, we have been throwing down pork rinds like it's not even funny.
Okay.
Nice.
Look hard.
It's yes, it is, and they're relatively cheap. Like we were at Ollie's a couple of days ago. I got like 5 bags of the big bags for like $1.79 each.
Wow.
Nice.
And they were all almost gone by the time that our trip over the weekend was up.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But
So-
as far as my favorite, that would probably be it now.
There you go.
Awesome.
And hopefully this will help you get more pork rinds and nice bags brought to you as you travel on the road.
Bring me all of the pork rinds. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to take a second, guys, if you're okay. And let's say howdy to a few more folks. Zachary Wilburn is on and watching. We've got Haley Hollis says, "Go Cayden."
It's your birthday. Not really.
Go Cayden. I remember this guy, Mr. Jordan Wilson. He is hanging in and watching us tonight. And let's see. Let me keep going on down. And like I said, I know I won't be able to catch everybody, but we do have a star in the room watching here too.
Yeah, what Riley?
Down to Brother Nicholas. Brother Nick, glad to have you watching with us.
What is he doing here? Why is he here?
Well,
who let him in here?
You know,
Well, funny for your surprise. He's unlocked gate 1. It's close to unlocking gate 2. So
that's right. That's right. Then there's this guy, Aaron Swain, is saying howdy. And he says, whatever Cayden said, don't believe it. Okay, well, that's tough, but hey, it's good to have friends.
I mean, I'm
like
not going to say that you probably shouldn't do that. Evan, you should probably tell him you really can't take a lot of what I say.
I mean, there's moments when, in folks that looked at the post last week, there's times that Cayden will look at you and tell you some of the most like meaningful things.
Uh-huh.
And then there's times that you look at him and you're like, what the heck just came out of his mouth? So that's what a conversation with Cayden is like. And honestly, I think the reason that me and him are so friends, such good friends, it just happened to me. The reason me and him are such good friends is because we're like we're cut out the same cloth. Honestly, we're that same way. It's like we can say something. It's like, okay, that was good. And then there's times it's like, huh? So yeah.
Yeah.
And every time that I see you and your sister somewhere, I'm like, man, this is dangerous. Somebody should alert the proper authorities. This is going to get really bad very quickly.
I was in Boonville and you weren't there at that singing, and I was like, that was the whole point.
I have been to that. I have been there every year the last couple of years, but
and the one year I come,
we were gone.
Yep.
So it's what can I say? I'm no good. I'm worthless.
I have just popped a little howdy up from a guy that I think a whole lot of. One of my favorites, Mr. Joseph Habedank. Thank you, Brother Joseph, for watching. And we appreciate you joining us. I hate that we turned ugly on this, but Nicholas said, I kind of don't like you now, Cayden. So anyway, maybe y'all can make up down the road. I don't know. That's tough. Let's see. Miss Rachel just got out of church and going to have to start from the beginning, but they're watching as they drive. So, all right.
People had church services tonight.
Yeah, a lot of folks in our area, the churches moved from Wednesday to Tuesday just
we're still
because. Yeah. So, and one more, and we'll move on.
No, you got to get this most recent one too.
Yes.
All right, what we got? What did I miss?
Buddy.
What happened? Buddy Bates. I've never liked him.
Is there some beef going on between you and Buddy
Cayden? Buddy Bates and I have a very complicated friendship. It's a love-hate. I love him and he hates me.
Oh, that's
I love
tough.
him and he hates me. I love Buddy.
Speaking about Buddy, I'm missing my buddy to the right hand of me, but Jason had to run sound and had to go to church tonight with Rachel, his wife. That's kind of a cool thing to do when you go to church with your wife. But anyway, they had to go to church, and missing him tonight. I think here's what I want to do. I think this is a good time for it. And I played a game with Kennedy and Connor and Bailey the other night, which sibling, and we went through some lightning round questions. Now, obviously, there's only one of you, so we really can't play that game with you unless you have a split personality, and there's not enough show to go into that. So let's play a lightning round, though, kind of holiday style. I'm going to ask you fast questions. I want you to give me your answer as quick as you can, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready?
No, let's do it.
All right, here we go. And the timer starts now. Your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Turkey.
Turkey. Okay. After lunch on Thanksgiving, nap or watch football?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Cranberry sauce. Yes or no?
No.
No? Oh.
No,
I'm not liking you. Anyway.
I can't handle it. I can't handle it.
Rolls or cornbread?
Yes.
Okay. Cake or pie?
Pie.
Okay. Favorite Christmas show or movie?
Christmas or movie. Wow. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The live action one. The live action.
Live action one. All right.
Yeah.
You're putting up your Christmas tree. Are you using white lights or multicolored?
Probably white lights.
All right. Frosty or Rudolph?
Frosty.
Gifts under the tree. Do you peek or do you like surprises?
I like surprises.
All right. You get in the gift. Do you want a wrap present or you want gift cards and money?
Oh, gift cards and money because I'm getting older now.
Last question. Favorite Christmas song?
Oh, probably the Christmas song, you know.
Okay. All right. So now you know a little bit more about
on an open fire.
There you go. There. Oh, now we got to pay a royalty. But anyway. Thanks, Cayden.
Oh my gosh.
I have been asked.
Well, there's a lot of people that have. There's so many people that have heard that song. They're like, have you heard the Christmas song? They're like, what song is that?
Which one?
They're like, I thought it was called Chestnuts by the Fire or something. I'm like, no, the title of the song is the Christmas song.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I was just kidding about the royalty part because you didn't sing enough of it. But some folks have asked me because when I first did just the audio only podcast, I did play like a snippet of a song or a part of a song. And we haven't been playing songs on Forward. It's like, why don't y'all play any of the music? And the answer to your question, if inquiring minds are wanting to know, it's not. We would love to, but we do have a respect for the artist and for the songwriters. And, you know, when that music gets played, we love to see them at least get streaming credit. And we're not really set up to do that. So I like doing things the right way and with integrity. And so that's why we don't do that. Now, if we ever get asked to by the artist, we will with their permission, but that's why. So we have to rely on the artist to sing live snippets. Like you could sing like 5 words from all of the songs on your current project that you're working on. You could just give us a preview and we wouldn't have to pay any royalties. So go. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, do you see the deer in the headlights?
Wow. Wow. You know, I have to memorize these songs and I had to learn them. But when you asked me that, it was just nothing.
It becomes muscle memory. I know what you're saying.
I had nothing.
And I really don't know. It's like, I think I just had like I don't know what happened to me. I went down the trail. I didn't know where I was going and didn't know where I ended up. But sorry about that. I was about as shocked as you were. But anyway.
Kind of afraid of where we were about to go. I was, oh my.
Yeah. Well, you don't. Anyway. You hadn't seen anything yet, brother. Wait till you get to know me more. All right. So.
Yes.
how about panel? I know we had a lot of great questions thrown out there. Y'all want to throw a few more questions toward Cayden at this point?
Throw Nick Wilt's question up on the screen. I want to see him answer this one.
Which one? Oh,
Cayden is probably the most social guy in gospel music. So this
now
is
now you're gonna make somebody mad.
Thank you. Your favorite gospel music fan?
Fan of the Year award goes to?
I think he wants me to say it's him.
Yeah.
I think he wants me to say it's Nicholas.
It can't be me. I've never seen you with your actual group. I've been friends with you for years, and I've never seen you sing with your group.
I have made a lot of friends over the last couple of years, and I'm thankful for everybody that has taken an interest in what God's done in my life and what God's doing through the groups that I've been with and through what God's doing with us now. And man, I just don't feel right saying that. I can't show any kind of favoritism because I'm honored to have every friend that I have. So Nicholas
wise
will just
young
have
man.
To give me, yes,
wise young man.
But I'm sure I'll probably hear it from him later. So I'm willing to take that.
We can just ask him a safe question. Who's your least favorite fan? No, I'm just kidding. Don't answer that.
Well, if you had, no, I'm just playing.
Good answer, Brady. Good answer. All right. What else y'all got?
We had a very important question. Who's your favorite Southern Gospel Forward host?
Oh, yes.
Me.
That was
say me.
perfect answer.
You're not a host. You're a guest.
I tap out and say me. Wow, Papa. Wow, I love that shirt. That shirt is awesome.
I got gifts for my birthday. I had a little 50 birthday, and I'm too old for Southern Gospel Forward. But this group, the three of those went together and got me one that says Papa Scott, and it's got our logo on the front. And little did they know, but my wife also got me this. So I'm all fixed up with swag from Southern Gospel Forward. So that was cool for the old guy that's too old for this group. But I'm the mentor. How about that? Can we do that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's up next?
We had a lot
we had
on
a
the
lot
page.
from comments. While you're looking for some, I'll ask you this, Cayden. If you could make an all-time quartet, a tenor, lead, baritone, bass, and you can even throw in a pianist if you want to, who would that be? Not so much for talent, but maybe people who have influenced you. This has always been a fun question, so I want to get your take on this.
Wow.
You could go several directions. Who influenced you, or who you think would sound the best together, or best with their parts?
Wow. I've never been asked that before. Definitely, okay. Without debate, as far as to me, the most pleasing style of piano to hear, where you just hear it and it you know, like that's Southern gospel music piano playing, is probably Gerald Wolfe.
Bingo.
It'd be probably Gerald Wolfe singing bass. Didn't really have an influence on me because I'd never got to meet him, but I think he's one of the best. And like I was talking about earlier, as far as the way he could communicate, the way he ministered to people, probably George Yount singing bass. And you know what? I'm going to go the stereotypical route and say Mark Trammell to sing the baritone.
You're about to build the 1980s,
man. It's sad, but it's the truth, man.
It's true. I mean, that's
sad,
awesome.
But it's the truth. Sad, but it's the truth. But as far as, I'll go outside of the Cats. As far as one of the most powerful and dynamic lead singer voices I think that's ever come along, and definitely when I hear him sing now, and even when I heard him sing, back when he was at the Kingdom Airs, I've heard things from years ago where I hear this guy open up his mouth and this big out. I'm like, man, he's not playing around. He means business. It's probably Arthur Rice singing lead.
Yes.
And I will do, as far as the tenor, wow. Man, there's so many great ones. There's so many great ones. You know, I'm going to do 3/4 of the cats and just give it to Danny.
Okay.
It's good. Yeah, I'll take
Danny.
that.
I'll just give it to Danny.
Fantastic.
That's great. Yeah, that's a like solid lineup. Even though all of them sang with individual groups, I've said before, Mark Trammell. I mean, are we talking Cathedrals Mark Trammell? Are we talking Mark Trammell Quartet Mark Trammell? Are we talking Gold City Mark Trammell? Because they were all different forms of Mark, and is different how he fit into the group. So he could really go different ways. So yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah.
Right. I just hated to leave out Glenn Payne, but I was trying not to just rebuild the cats from the 80s.
we can do like a Kingsman where it's like we have the set lead, but then we have the Jim Hamill to the side who comes on and sings the important songs. I guess that's how they used to do it.
There you go. Absolutely. That's the way I first got introduced to Arthur. Was he was playing bass standing in the back with the Kingsmen, and when Big Jim was singing, then if it got to a part that got a little high or Jim got tired, he would just point to Arthur, and Arthur had a mic that was always standing in front of him, and he just stepped up to it and just stepped in and took over. I mean, that's I can see it today.
I love seeing that on like YouTube and all that stuff. Where, man, they would be up just throwing down, just hammering down, putting down a country road, just all gas, no brakes. And to get to the ending, Ray's going for a slide, somebody's going for a high, and Jim just – and Arthur B. Wow! I love it, man. It's awesome. I love
it. And Arthur had to be on call and ready through the whole set because he just didn't know. But when Jim pointed, he had to step in and go. Yes. That was during those 80s years when I was cutting my teeth on Southern Gospel. So, yep. Here's a question.
Man, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Absolutely. Here is something. Let's throw a question up from the Peanut Gallery. Cindy Jones asked, who is the funniest guy on the bus? Is that okay to ask? No, I don't think that would offend anybody. Or
I don't know. He is on a bus with Harold Reed.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
that's
what I'm going to say. Well, Alex is Alex. No, I'm just playing. You know, honest to God, everybody that I travel with are some of the coolest, down to earth, and the most entertaining people to be around that I've ever met. Even prior to Harold joining the group, there was never a dull moment. Somebody was always doing something stupid or trying to pull something on somebody. Man, it's great. And that's like you were talking about Harold, just adding Harold into the mix. It's very dangerous. I'll just say that.
It was like adding gunpowder to dynamite.
Man, I love it. Harold has come on the bus and he's totally changed what we do 360 degrees. He's done more than just make us laugh and keep everybody entertained. He's a very asset to this group. But as far as probably the guy that's the funniest, it'd probably be Harold.
Awesome.
So we had this question in the group and on the live stream here was asked again. What's your favorite memory so far traveling with the Down East Boys?
My favorite memory would probably have to be the first concert. New Year's Eve, Russell Springs, Kentucky. I believe it was Russell Springs Baptist or First Baptist Church. I can't remember exactly the name of the church. And, you know, I'm very thankful to have sang with Appointed and with the Dixie Melody Boys both. But it's something, I think that what we're doing here is something like I've never been a part of and something that I haven't really seen that much. And from the first night together, and even the first time that we rehearsed together, I'm like, man, if we can tough this out and if we can make things work, we can really have something here. And that night, the first concert, seeing the crowd's reactions, you know, even with me being brand new, I didn't know half of the songs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, seeing how the group was operated and seeing how Ricky carried the group from stage,
Mm-hmm.
and the kind of standards that from that night all the way up until now, it's been the ride of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But for it would probably be the first concert on New Year's Eve. It was a fantastic service. The crowd was awesome. The crowd was very kind to us, and everybody was very kind to me, with it being my first concert with the guys. But it would probably be that one, because I knew from that point on that was the beginning of something special.
Mm-hmm. And this lineup really has been special, and I've yet to see y'all live, and I still feel bad about that. But from what it's one of those.
Well, you should, because you're a terrible person for not coming to see us live.
Well, when's the next time you're within a 2-hour radius? And I promise you, I will come see you.
Let's see here.
Bands in town.
Yeah.
DownEastBoys.com/schedule.
Cool. Good little plug. Look at that. We're so good. We did a plug.
Absolutely. And that's a good time to pop this up here, because also not only can you go to DownEastBoys.com for the tour, but you can also go to DownEastBoys.com/store and shop with the guys and get all of their products. And they have awesome records, CDs out there. So records, good night. Well, y'all may be I don't know if y'all done any vinyl, but I was just telling my age. But anyway, awesome music out there. Go support them. Check their tour out. Follow them. And also on the website you also have the opportunity to have the contact information to book them and bring them. So Evan could bring them into the area. Evan is Mr. Promoter guy.
You know,
He's doing a good
that's
job.
a good idea. You need to
Why look at your schedule and I can just call your boss?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
you could do that.
But we do thank, I really thank the Down East boys and Ricky and all the guys for sharing, Cayden. And we thank you for, thank you so much for your time. And also we definitely want to say that it's a blessing from the Down East boys for you to be with us. And we will really want y'all to support us. What are you showing?
I will be with you February 17th, Cayden.
Over at the Pick and Post?
Pick and Post.
Nice.
Okay.
We did that date a couple months ago. It was great. The venue was cool. We had a really good crowd. Mike's an awesome guy. That night, actually, I don't think it shows it on there, but that night we're actually with Anthem Edition. So you'll get to get every bit
both
of
UTech brothers
that you'll ever want.
That's worth it. I'm not even coming to see you.
Yeah,
I'm just going to see Alex and Andrew. That's
I would, you know.
Battle of the Brothers.
That was kind of the whole premise of Mike putting it together, because it would be cool to kind of see the two up there, you know, so it's kind of cool.
Aren't they from the Scottsboro area or somewhere up in that area too? So that's kind of close to home.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Scottsboro, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I know right where that's at.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's okay. My family's from Sand Mountain, up in a little town called Fife, which is about 15 minutes from Fort Payne. So, that's I know all that area, and I actually know where Boonville, Mississippi's at. So we're actually your hometown and me, and we're not far apart. So
you should actually come over and see us sometime. We're a pretty little town.
It was dark when I was there, but it looked nice.
You know, I'm good looking in the dark too. You know what I'm saying? That's tough right there. It's a nice, pretty little town. Of course, it was dark when I drove through.
Things are so much better when you can't see. So much better when you can't see.
Except for stages and stairs. There's been
that's bad. That's bad. How many more questions do we have from the forward post?
I would say there's probably two that I want to scoop at least. So the first one says, what advice did you receive from Ed O'Neill while traveling with the Dixie Melody Boys? I met Ed O'Neill, and I don't know who was more excited, me or him, but there's an awesome picture of the time I met him. I love him.
You know, Ed is one of the most encouraging people that I know. Mm-hmm. Even when the transition happened between, you know, going from the Dixie Melody Boys over to the Down East Boys. Everybody was good. Ed was very kind and very supportive. And I love Ed to death. And I try my best to call him here and there and try to keep up with him and how he's. So that makes, this is off of the corner or whatever. That actually makes 3 of the 5 members that are on the Down East Boys bus that have been through Ed's group. Harold was with Ed back in the late 90s. Yes. Doug was with him for a couple of years in the mid to late 2010s, if that makes sense. And then I was with him for 3 years. He brought me in November of 2019, and I was very thankful for the 3 years that I had there. I learned so much from Ed. But probably the best advice that I got from Ed was about being different. You know, even with the music going the way it is, you know, and there's so many artists now that are trying to push things, and that's all well and good. But Ed was a firm believer in, isn't broke, don't fix it, right? You know, he said you need to be different in all this stuff and still hold on to the old time way of conducting yourself on stage, off stage, and try and be the best Christian and singer as you can be. And Ed was kind of, and I'm sure Harold and Doug both could say this too, that they learned a lot from Ed about what it takes a good quartet man and to try and do your part into making this industry keep going.
Yeah. That's good. So the other one I wanted to grab is, if you could sit down and talk to anyone in the Bible except for Jesus, who would it be and why? Thought that was interesting.
Wow. That's very interesting. I'm not going to name anyone specifically because they've all got their respective reasons why, sure. Probably any one of the disciples. And solely for the fact, because I was just curious, or I would be curious to see what it was like walking around with the most perfect human being that was ever made and that was ever born. He'd never sinned once in his life. Just wondering what that was like, seeing a lot of the things that they saw him do. Just kind of ask him, you know, what was everyday life like, you know, what was it like to be around the Son of God all the time and just seeing, you know, I just love to get their perspective on a lot of what they went through, a lot of what they saw him do, and just try and figure out what that whole experience was like. So it would probably be any of the disciples, really.
Awesome. Riley, do you have anything else? Don't mean to put you on the spot, but I thought you might have one more in your pocket.
Somebody asked, is being on the road full-time what you expected, or is there anything that surprised you, good or bad?
Okay. No. I knew that traveling full-time was going to require a lot of things. It was going to require me to miss a lot of things. I've missed birthdays, all that kind of stuff. I've missed first dates, all that kind of stuff. But in the end, it makes it all worth it because I know that this is God's calling on my life, and I've got peace with everything that comes with traveling full time, being gone so much. But like I said, I know without a shadow of a doubt that this is what God's called me to do. And like I said, I think he's given me the peace and the strength to be do and put up with a lot of what comes with being on the road full time. And there's so many people that could say that they could do it, but I'm telling you from personal experience, there's not many people that could do this unless they're really called. And that's what I try to tell everybody that's close to my age too, that comes up to me asking, you know, questions about quartet music or about what do if I want to get a job with some group or whatever. I'm like, remove singing, ability to play music, anything before you do anything, you need to make sure, be absolutely certain that this is God's will for your life.
Mm-hmm.
Be absolutely certain, because there's a lot, like I said, that comes with doing this. And I'm thankful that God's chosen me to do what I do with these guys. I believe I'm with one of the groups that's out there. I'm very thankful for all the guys that are on that bus. I'm thankful for what they've done for me. And I'm just thankful that God's given me what it takes to be able to do this, because it's definitely not easy. It's not a road that not everyone would pick, but I'm very thankful for what I've been able to do and what God's done in my life over, especially the year that I've been with the Down East Boys.
That's awesome. And you actually knocked out an answer. I think there was another question out there about any advice for somebody your age or younger that was getting into the industry. You just absolutely knocked that one out of the park too. So now I like a thing, and I can't remember I think maybe Avery started this. Somebody started this a while back. We didn't get to do this in the last one we did, but we're going to put Cayden on the spot and turn the tables. How the turntables. Anyway, we're going to turn the tables and hey, Cayden, would you have any questions that you would like to pose to the panel that has grilled you for the last hour?
You know what? As a matter of fact, I would. And this is for all of you. I would like to hear an answer. What made you guys want to be a part of and or start a community like what this is, like Southern Gospel Forward? Like for you, what was the moment that made you think, I want to be a part of that? I want to be a part of what those guys are doing or what these people are trying to do and the mission that they're trying to accomplish.
Okay. And usually I let our young folks start out, but if I can, let me start first, because, and then it builds. And I think that's the kind of the way to go. So to give you the background, my background, I joke around about being old and I know I'm not really old, but for youth in gospel, that's not me anymore, but I used to be. I grew up in a singing family. I was exposed to the music, loved the music. The music brought me through a lot of tough times in my younger life, through broken homes and relocations and a lot of actually pretty much poverty as a teen and just some tough times. And the music really brought me through. So fast forward, and God used me in several ways in ministry, which included youth ministry. So I've got a heart for young people. I love young people. And, I've gone through now 4 decades of hearing that the music is dying and that, that the music is going away. And of course it keeps being replaced by new fans. Well, a couple of years ago, I started really paying attention to the crowds and seeing that there are really a lot of young people in the crowd. And then looking at what was coming across the stage. And yes, we still have a lot of our seasoned artists, but we have a whole lot of young artists out there that are doing, like you, Cayden, are doing a phenomenal job. And not only singing well, but also ministering well and carrying the legacy and the banner for Southern gospel music for those who started it years ago and for the Lord. I mean, most importantly, carrying the banner for the Lord. So I had a podcast a few years ago, voice only, and it was really, growing, doing good. Had some life things that happened that kind of knocked me off the way a little bit. And kind of not going to go deep into that, but kind of got into just a lull in ministry and a lull in life. Not a lot of enthusiasm to do anything, but I kept watching and seeing the young people in the crowds, young people on the stage. And I really felt like that it was time to do something that I wanted to try. Most people, you probably never had heard of me before, met you at NQC. A lot of folks hadn't. I've got a lot of friends in Southern Gospel. I am on the SGMA board, stuff like that, folks. But I'm a background person. So I really didn't have a big name to draw in, but I still wanted to reach out and see if we could start something that would build the young folks and not only in the industry. I wanted to encourage you guys because I love you and I love to see what you're doing. It just blesses my heart, but also get these young fans coming in and connect with you guys, because I see that I don't see the youth in Southern Gospel as the future. I see the youth in Southern Gospel as today and now. And so I said, okay, I've got a cousin, Chris Champion, who I love dearly. He's like a brother to me more than we call ourselves bro cousins. But his philosophy is the worst thing that anybody can say is no. And that's pretty good philosophy. Reach out there. So I started asking around, would people have interest? People like you, some young artists, would you have interest? And then I reached out to the 3 young faces that you see in the other panels. And so now I'm going to hush. That gave you the background, how this come in from me thinking about it. And then I reached out to them, and you guys take it away.
I guess I'll jump first. I kind of have probably the shortest answer to it. So Scott reached out to us at a singing. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like January of last year, I think, or February.
Sand Mountain Song Fest.
Yes, that one. And so he was like, what do you guys think of starting this Facebook group? I don't even think at the time the podcast was an option. It was just going to be this group, this community. Yeah. And I was like, could work. Don't know if there's going to be, a lot of people that are interested in it, because in the areas we go to, there's maybe 5 or 6 regulars that we'll see. We see Riley when it's just an edge from Georgia. We see him at scenes, or if we go over into Georgia, we'll see him. Like we see you in Mississippi. And so, there's a few regulars that we would see, but it wasn't a lot of people. We saw a lot of young artists building. And I was like, you know what? I think just from coming from NQC, there's a ton of young people at NQC, but we all don't know each other. Like, I mean, like I see people, but I'm not an introvert, but I'm not going to like go out of my way to be like, hey, you're young, I'm young, we should be friends. However, I was like, I think this could be good to join everybody together. And at places like NQC where everybody's together, it could be like this big family reunion. And this year it was like, there was people that I saw and recognized from the comments. They recognized me from here because they saw my face, and they were like, hey, we're in the group. We watched the podcast. Like, it's awesome. Even in Boonville, Lindsay in this group, she came up to me and was like, I'm really enjoying the group. I'm really enjoying the podcast. And like, it's just been awesome. Like these people that I probably wouldn't have talked to beforehand, we've like made this community. So that's why I joined in and was interested in getting involved.
I joined in.
Awesome.
I'll let you go first because I'm still trying to think.
Well, I also am trying to think, but I will give as best of an answer as I can. Well, I have always loved this music, obviously, but like you, I barely see any young people in my local area when I go to singings. I'm mostly the youngest person there, unless somebody just happens to have their grandchild or something. And so when Scott approached me earlier this year, I'd always want that the podcast wasn't a part, but I was part of a Southern Gospel group chat on Instagram back in the day, and that kind of died off. But I knew that there was young people who love this music, but the big thing that drew me in was bringing everybody together. And so when I was approached, I was very enthusiastic about it. It was probably earlier this year, and it took a while for everything to come together, but just seeing how everything has come together, and we're growing and getting young people, and people are excited about it, and that's just very encouraging to me as well.
I'm with Avery. I was with Scott at the Songfest, and I remember him coming up to me with the idea. And I'm more of a social media guy. Like I stay on social media probably way more than what I should. So I was like, yeah, this seems like something, I was in some more social media groups. Like there's a bass singers tribute group. I think Jeffrey, who's been in the comments all night, he's a big supporter in that. And I was in that group. I was in Quartet tribute group, but I was like, I want a group with something like that, like of Scott's idea, something that's more, younger artist. And whenever he brought the idea up, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like that'd be something I'd be interested in helping out with. And little did I know that vision would become what we're doing like right now. And all because of what Scott kind of threw out as an idea. And I love what it's helped me do, because I remember there was a concert when I was briefly with Troy and Tammy. We were up in Illinois, and I swear I was the youngest person, and I was on the stage. There was probably not a person in that audience under the age of probably 55. And I'm not joking when I say that. It was, and I hate to say it this way, it was an old crowd, but they also, as much as we were pouring out to them, they weren't giving back. And a lot of times I feel like that youth in an audience make the older people excited that there are young people who still care about this music. And seeing this trend kind of follow up, I've seen a lot more presence in gospel music, especially in our area, just with people seeing what is this about. Oh, I had some friends of mine come to a concert that I promoted, had never heard who the Kingsmen were. It was the Kingsmen concert in May. Never heard who the Kingsmen were. Didn't know who guys like Ray Dean, Jim Hamill were. And they said that was the best concert they'd ever been to. Now, no, we live probably 30 minutes from Birmingham, where they can go and see the best rock concert, the best pop concert, the best rap concert they'd ever want to see. But they said the vocal talent of those 4 guys standing on stage were better than anything they'd ever seen. And just like earlier, how you referred to saying that just give it to them and they're going to like it. And that's how Scott, has kind of not only created a group for people who already were fans, but I've had friends of mine who are like, what the heck is Southern Gospel Forward? And then they've joined it and they're like, now this is pretty cool. So it's helped gain a community of people that would never really even have an interest.
And so, my young friend Cayden, we just unpacked a whole lot on you, probably more than you bargained for. But
no, that was really exactly what I was hoping to hear. I wasn't expecting Evan to actually show heart. I was expecting him to just be like, man, I just thought it was cool. I just did it because he did it. You know what I mean? And I love it, man. I love
moving forward. Forward's a good word. And that Forward name, I think, came from Riley when we were shooting some things around.
I have a screenshot of it.
Yeah, he actually came up with the name for this. And so looking forward for the vision, I think I speak for all of us when our goal is to definitely build the community. And yes, the private Facebook group is not growing fast, but there again, it's kind of by design, that private Facebook group. And I surely don't want to offend anybody here, but it is for Southern Gospel artists and young fans, and young is relative, I guess, but we look at 40 and below is kind of where we're at, so Southern Gospel artists, period. And then young fans 40 and below to draw that community. But then on this also, our point on here is to bring more people in and the exposure, and also to promote you guys, our young artists. We really want to do that. My heart is this, at the end of the day, looking back on my life, obviously I pray that I am a servant of the Lord, as I should be, that somebody would look at me and say, he's a Christian. He loved like Jesus. That's number one. Secondly, I want to be seen as a godly father and a godly husband, and do my best at that. But then the other thing is, and this is just something big to me, is I really hope in the day that my Southern Gospel friends would say that I was a friend and an encourager in these young folks, that I did something for the young folks, because that's my heart. And I've just always been drawn to that ministry. So moving forward, I hope maybe looking back, whatever they nail out on that stone one day has kind of all that stuff unpacked on there. That's my heart.
That's awesome, Scott. That's pretty cool.
So, wow, that kind of, like, this is Cayden night, and we just took up about 10 minutes on that. But thank you for asking us that.
That was kind of the first thing that popped into my head. I have a very different thought process whenever it comes to these kind of things.
Mhm.
Like I said, that was probably my first thought, was like, okay, they're doing it. I love them for it. I love that they're putting something like this into place for everything, like what you were talking about, where there's a place where younger people that are in this music can come and grow closer to try and work together and try and make this music better, try and make it live for another 100 years, you know, whatever. But I'm like, okay, you want to do that, but tell me why. Give me your purpose. I want to know your heart, right?
Yeah.
He's been
So for
PR
me,
trained.
that was, well, that was kind of the first thing that popped into my mind. I'm like, okay, you're doing it. That's awesome. But tell me why. Like, what's on your mind and what's on your heart whenever it comes to doing something. That was exactly the answers from everybody that I was hoping that I would get. So thank you guys for that. Really. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Thank you for asking. And you know, it's kind of interesting because the people who stumble across this, and there's a lot of artists who have really kind of started watching us faithfully, and that's been encouraging to us for sure. But one thing about it is too, I think I can speak for all of us four. I mean, we're partners. I mean, we're there. There's no any one person in the three. We're four partners on this, and I think that we all have the same mindset. You know, I've been approached by a couple of folks in the industry, and you know, this seems to appeal. This product, this format, and the way it's kind of laid back. And I've been hit with some. You know, you ought to. And kind of looking into the moving it to a, I guess a commercial package kind of thing. I don't know any other way to say that, but I think that our heart is a whole lot more in the building community and the encouraging side. And yes, if we can do things to where we can get to places like NQC and represent and do stuff like that, sure. But I don't think any of us are looking for that commercial, what would you say, success. We're looking to give God the glory and bring him honor, and also to encourage and to support our young artists and our young fans. And I think they would all give amens on that.
Right. Absolutely. Now it is going to be cool to meet people through like things like NQC, because I think that's the reason we're doing it, is we're doing it to meet the other people and to participate in some activities with other people and, you know, enjoy a concert. There's a buddy of mine, and I don't even think he's on social media, but I've met him. He's, how old is Anthony? 14, 15? No, he's a little bit older. 18 or 19. Anthony's around my age, and he's from this area, and he loves he knows more Southern gospel lyrics than I'd say 99% of artists in like that go to concerts every night. And Anthony has such a heart, not only for Southern gospel music, but for the Lord. I mean, if a little line is sung, ones that we take for granted, like when I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. He is in the arms in the air, thinking about that quote. And it's little things in the music, and it makes me so happy to realize we're not the only ones out there. And for guys like Anthony, who may not have social media, who never get to see this stuff, there will be a table at the concerts he goes to where he can go, now this is a community, because we haven't even thought about that outreach of a lot of people don't really have social media, especially younger people.
Right.
There's a whole other group of people like Anthony out there. And if Anthony is on social media, I apologize. Send me a friend's request if you do. But he is the epitome, or not, what is the word? Epitome of what Southern Gospel Forward is about, is the young fan in the audience who is praising more than the whole audience is. I mean, that's awesome. It's exactly what it should be. And guys like, I'd love to get Anthony on the podcast one night, and I might get to see him this weekend. So I will try my best.
Piggybacking off of what you were talking about, and I've had this conversation. We talked about, like what you were talking about, those lyrics to those songs. I'm very proud to be singing the kind of music that we do. And I'm not even just talking about like our group. I just mean in our industry as a whole, because the way that our songs are written and composed, as far as the music and everything, obviously isn't like, you know, your CCM stuff or country music or pop music or rock music. It has a very distinct appeal. Like whenever we step foot on the stage, from the first couple of lines of the first song, and that's just with about any group now, from the first few lines in the first song, there's no doubt in your mind who they are, why they're there, and what they're trying to accomplish.
Yes. Amen.
And I just don't think that you get that simplicity with listening to other kinds of music. Which, if it works for you, that's great. Obviously, everybody has their own opinions and everything. But this is just my own personal opinion. I don't think, because I do believe in the quote, little is much, less is more. You know what I mean? There's so much more that could be covered and that could be gotten into somebody's mind through just a phrase, a simple stringing together of certain words that rhyme, listening to the way that especially those classic songs have been written. They were written, and God's honored those people that have written those songs by allowing those songs to live on for 100 years or more because of the simplicity of how God told them and showed them the way to write these songs. Like I said, I just am a firm believer in simple is better, less is more.
Well said. Well said. Absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. I got behind. I had made a promise I'd pop one or two on real quick, and I know we're going along. Cayden, you didn't know you was going to be here all night. We're going to try to get you out of here in just a second. But
man, this is the most fun I've had all day. So let's do it. I'm here.
You got a howdy from a Dalton Gay.
Dayton, yeah.
That's Dayton.
Oh, yeah, Dayton.
That is my buddy that sings.
I'm sorry, Dayton. Wait a minute. Dayton. Yeah, misread that.
You can't see
sorry
with his glasses. That.
Yeah.
He is awesome guy.
And my goodness, what a voice out of that guy.
Love
it. Great. Doing a fantastic job. And he did say hello to everyone else too. So we appreciate it.
We're going to see Dayton next week, next Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Oh, yeah. Perfect. And I'm looking back through. Oh, wow. This is a challenge, and I'm pretty sure that this is our Southern Gospel historian who we appreciate watching us, David Bruce Murray.
Can I use your website?
Yeah. Can you quote a song that includes epitome in the lyric? I cannot quote one, but challenge accepted. I'm going to see if I can write out a lyric that has epitome.
Epitome. Epitome. Okay. A song with the word epitome.
You're right. You don't have lyrics on SG History. You just have song titles. That has worked in that has not worked. The other day, the Kingsmen were at the church, and I was sitting. I was like, "What?" I was sitting and thinking, like, "What lineup was on this song?" And I just typed in the lyrics, and it was like, "We don't support lyrics." It was like, "It doesn't support lyrics." And I'm like, "Great, now I'm gonna have to think of the song title." And so I was like, "Song title," because it was a very one of those, like, they never really said the song title. So yes, you're right. Lyrics do not work. So but I use SG History on the daily. It stays on my phone, and I still every time you're on here, I appreciate you for creating a place like that, because Wikipedia doesn't have it.
Yes, and we absolutely appreciate sghistory.com and the work that David Murray does and he is a friend and a partner to the SGMA that I'm a part of, and we appreciate that. I encourage, if you want to really start studying Southern Gospel, whether it comes to artists, the groups they were with, the different groups, you can dive down that rabbit hole, and it's like Alice in Wonderland.
Here's a little fun game you can play. Go in and like think of one group and think of another group and see if you can do like the 6 degrees of separation. Like,
that's good.
Mark Trammell sang with Gold City. Tim Riley sang with Gold City. He sang with the Dixie Echoes. That leads to like Scoot Shellnut or something. I do that all the time. I'll take like 2 groups and try to link the 2. It's a really fun game if you're ever bored going down the road, Cayden.
It is the Southern Gospel multiverse. Yes.
Southern Gospel multiverse. It's a really fun game to play. It sounds weird on the surface, but it really helps, loop your brain of, I didn't realize he sang with them. Like, I had no clue until a couple months ago. Jeff Easter was a member of Gold City at one point.
Oh yeah, he was.
I had no clue. And
we've had this. We've had this conversation on our bus, and I've had it with several other people too. Just think about how, too, like what you were talking about, how differently the history of the music would have turned out if certain members hadn't been with certain groups, if certain groups didn't get songs at a certain time period. All of that plays into factor into what this music is, what it is today, because of all that stuff specifically taking place. It's just fun to think about, well, what would have happened if this group got this song 20 years after this other group got it back in, it's just cool to me anyways.
It absolutely is. And I mean, it's fascinating to watch it. I mean, you go back and you study the history and several majorly influential groups, but one of the most influential groups, I believe everybody would agree, would be the Statesmen, Hovey, Lister, and the Statesmen. And you look at the way that materialized and started, and Hovey was working with ingredients and back and forth, and you had changes until you ended up with that lineup of Denver and Jake and Doy and Big Chief and Hovey on the piano and kaboom. And then from there, where that went and the influence and the impact that had, the ripple effect from that, through Southern gospel, it's really, really amazing. You can really take some deep dives there. But, well, goodness, y'all, we have broken a record, a Southern gospel forward record. This is the longest
Good job,
that we have made any guest endure. And,
Man, I could sit here for another hour. I love sitting to talk with like-minded that have a heart for the music like what I do. And it's like, this literally doesn't feel like it's been more than like 20 minutes to me. Like, I've just looked up at the top and said an hour 37 and 30. I'm like, wow. Yeah. I'm sorry that I took up all of your time that much.
I'm the only one that's old. I tell them, I joke around and say I turn into a pumpkin about 9 o'clock Central Time, but I'm good. I'm still good. I'm in good shape, and I don't have to go into work in the morning, so I'm a little more frisky tonight. But I do thank you for your time. This has been a blessing to me. They always are, but
pleasure.
It's been a blessing getting to know you even more, and I look forward down the road. And of course, anything that I can ever do for you, Cayden, all you got to do is dial the digits, and I'm at your beckoning call. I appreciate you greatly, who you are and your stand, and just appreciate you so much.
Same thing goes for all of you guys that I can never do for you. Just reach out. And Evan, if there's anything I can do for you, call somebody else. So oh my!
Oh, that's good stuff. Well,
but no, for real, this is okay. For real, this has been the highlight of, for sure, my day. But this is one of the coolest things that I've done. Like I said, we've covered a lot of good topics that need to be discussed, and there needs to be dialogue about all this stuff. Because, like I said, without these questions being asked, our industry and our style of music can't move forward, right? So I'm honored that you guys would ask me to play a very small part in trying to move this music forward.
Well, it's been a blessing. I know I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. For my partners, do y'all have any closing thoughts or questions or anything else you'd like to say before we head out?
Cayden, it's been a blast, and I look forward to seeing the Down East Boys very soon.
I hope so, and we're going to try our best to get you saved. I'm not sure if it's going to happen.
Wow.
We're going to try hard.
You had to pull that one out.
You went there. Oh, boys. Now.
All right, time to go. Good night.
Mighty fine. You boys. Anyway, well, y'all, I've had a blast. I hope y'all have. Yes. It's been a pleasure. Cayden, again, we thank you so much. And to our watchers, it's not too late. If you're watching this, please share it. Somebody's going to see it on your timeline and go back and watch it. Mm-hmm. We would love for you to participate in our little raffle giveaway on our CD set and support us if you will. But we thank y'all so much. It means the world to us for y'all hanging out with us. And we'll probably take a couple of weeks and find somebody, another guest to join us and hang out with us. But,
oh my!
Thank y'all for your support. Thank you for your time. Thank y'all, panel, for being with me. And until next time, we'll see you around then.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Thanksgiving.